Marcus, Claire, and I drove to the hotel immediately. Ryan showed us his phone, and in just 2 hours, she'd sent over 300 messages alternating between death threats, promises to change, suicide threats, and detailed descriptions of how she'd ruin his life. He'd screenshot everything, but was terrified she'd actually hurt herself or him. We helped him write one final response saying the relationship was over and he was blocking her number, then called a crisis intervention service to do a wellness check on her. The next morning, Ryan texted asking if Marcus and I could meet him at the police station because he wanted to file a report about Vicky's threats. We drove downtown and found him in the lobby looking exhausted with dark circles under his eyes and his phone in a plastic bag for evidence. The officer who took our statements was a woman in her 50s who listened carefully while Ryan showed her the 300 messages, including death threats and detailed descriptions of how Vicky planned to destroy his life. I pulled up the security footage from the venue on my phone, showing Vicky trying to break in at 2 in the morning and banging on the doors when her keycard didn't work. The officer took notes and made copies of everything, but explained that without actual physical violence, their options were limited and we could file for restraining orders, but the process would take several weeks. She gave us case numbers and paperwork to fill out and said she'd add this to Vicky's file since this wasn't her first complaint. A week later, my wedding planner called while I was at work, and her voice sounded excited for the first time since this whole mess started. She'd spent the week coordinating with all our vendors to add extra security, including requiring photo ID and a special password for any changes to our orders. She'd also discovered through her network that Vicky had been blacklisted by 3 other venues in Phoenix for aggressive behavior, including one incident where she tried to convince a bride to switch dates so Vicky could have the slot. Word was spreading fast through the wedding industry, and several vendors had already flagged Vicky's name in their systems. My planner said she'd never seen someone burn so many bridges so quickly, and that Vicky wouldn't be able to book anything decent in the entire state. 2 days after that, Dad texted asking if I could meet him for lunch at his office downtown. When I arrived, he had a thick manila folder on his desk that he pushed toward me with sad eyes. Inside were documents going back 20 years, including report cards where teachers wrote about Vicky's bullying behavior and lack of empathy for other students. There were notes from 3 different therapists Mom had taken her to as a teenager, all saying similar things about antisocial tendencies and recommending intensive treatment that Mom never followed through with. The worst was a police report from Vicky's sophomore year of college where she'd been caught using her roommate's credit cards and had stolen her identity to open new accounts. Mom had hired a lawyer and paid off the roommate to drop charges, and the whole thing got buried. Dad had kept copies of everything, including emails where Mom made excuses and insisted Vicky just needed more love and support. Ryan saying Vicky threatened to hurt herself if he didn't go along with her fake wedding plans. That's a really serious claim to just drop in there. Makes me wonder what else Ryan hasn't mentioned about their relationship dynamic and how long this manipulation has been happening. He'd tried to get Vicky real help for years, but Mom always blocked him and threatened divorce if he pushed too hard. 3 days later, I was making dinner when my phone started buzzing nonstop with notifications. Vicky had posted a 20-minute video on every platform claiming Ryan had abused her throughout their relationship and that I'd seduced him to steal him away.